What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So throughout our season, I get a number of clients, a lot of return clients they're getting more and more confident in that challenging terrain. But something that kind of jumped at me just the last couple weeks here were guys that know that they have the fundamentals, know that they can do it, but they can't get out of their own head. So today we are going to talk about getting out of your own head. Let's get into it. All right, I am super excited today because joining me is good friend, Mr. Sahen Skinner, owner of SS Freeride. Sahen and I have known each other for a long time. I've watched Sahen grow up as a rider, and he has been guiding his own business for the last 6 years, but guiding for the last 13, 14 years. Sahen and I have done riding clinics in Russia. Oh my God, the stories you and I could both tell, right?
Yeah.
But throughout our season, and we just started talking about this video yesterday, and immediately he had some really cool insight as to, getting people that they have fundamentals. I get it, when you're just learning, you got to take some baby steps, and you're out on some open slopes, open terrain that I call like you have a highway option, meaning that you're on a side hill that you can go down at any moment. Well, as we get more confident and we start getting into terrain that has some challenges, has maybe consequence below it, it's the same side hill. Chances are it's the same snow, but we watch riders time and time again fall out of position, they slow down, they lose that confidence, and it really comes down to not being able to get out of their own head. And so, just share with me, share with everybody, saying like, what are some insights, some clues that you tell some of your clients when you can tell that that's the situation they're in?
Yep, I think the biggest thing is like when you're talking about taking that next step or that next level, into progressing your riding and going into that terrain where there is a creek in the bottom or you can't go down or things like that. I really try to pound it into my guys' head because like we said, they're good riders and they're doing really well, but they're working on the mental aspect of it. Is I tell them, I'm like, I only worry about this 6 feet. That's the only thing I can control. I can't control how deep the snow is. I can't control where the trees are. I can't control any of that kind of stuff. What I can control is where I put my foot, right? How much gas I give it, where my eyes are, how I'm overcommitted into the hill. So no matter what, if I do mess up, I'm still committed into the hill and I can always push the sled down. I can't always pick it back up. So we talk about those kind of things and, looking at the gaps and keeping your head up and having those options. I says, guys, my plan A doesn't work most of the time, but it's okay. And I talk about, it's called free riding for a reason. If I get bounced left, I just start riding left, right? I don't get all discombobulated and like, oh my God, my line didn't work, it's the end of the world. I just go with the flow, but really worrying about those 6 feet, and I'm basing my lines off of how much traction I have mainly. So I'm, throughout my experiences of the day, I'm like, okay, with this, okay, maybe the snow's really deep. I can't build speed, so I'm gonna pick a very conservative line. If the snow's deep, my foot's a little bit farther forward, so I'm not caught in the back seat and wheeling the whole time. There's all of those things. So I'm just trying to be, really conscious about what I'm doing in that situation versus being so worried about the tree that hasn't moved in 60 years or the creek that I can do nothing about. I'm worried about what I can control, and that seems to really help them. And especially with the confidence thing, just stacking those little wins, guys. That's how you build confidence. It's not like challenging yourself to the moon and you just keep failing and you keep failing and you keep failing. Find some good terrain that there is some consequence, but it's not like you're gonna destroy your snowmobile or this or that. Just stack those little wins, right? And just a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better, because the universe does push back, right?
That's awesome.
A lot of us have been injured out here, and just stacking those little wins and going out and just remembering why you're out here in the first place, man, just to have fun and to go out there and just kick it with your buddies and tease each other a little bit and have fun. And just that's a big thing. Worry about what you can control and have fun with it.
There's the new Next Level Riding Clinics host of the show. I'm gonna just be over here giggling with frickin' giggle monster.
Do I need to clean my face up a little bit?
No,
sorry guys, it's the guide life. I'm kind of a hobbit in the winter.
I did look like that 30 years ago, I think. I started to like gray back out when I was pretty damn young.
I got a few grays for sure. Oh man.
That was great.
We bring the heckler, and then the heckler has dolphin muscles, so that he can say whatever he wants, because I'm never challenging that.
That's
dude.
the little big brother that
He's
I
the
have.
muscles. It's so fun to ride with a bouncer. You
Yeah.
can do whatever you want. Any kind of parking lot confrontation.
Lars cancels out that 60-year-old tree thing. If it's really in my way, I go, Lars, get rid of this thing, and he will tackle it. Ha!
The other day was below us just a little bit. Me and one of our customers, now really good friends, and he's just flying through the trees. And I just see him put his head down, just blows through a bunch of huge branches, and he gets on the other side. And he's like, "Ow!" And he just sits there. So branches kind of move if you're Lars.
Yeah.
Me, they don't move.
Yeah,
But,
I get pistol whipped off the sled. I get reminded of the little fly that I am if I try to get too close to trees.
Slingshot engage.
Yeah,
sled
exactly.
keeps going, and I'm like, yeah. Jesus, take the wheel, and you're like, the wheel's gone. Yeah.
You know, when you're in those spots, I love that idea of like what you can actually physically control.
Yeah.
Of just being in that position. And the thing that I would add to it too is a lot of people, they bite off way more than they can chew, meaning,
more.
and it doesn't always have to pretend they go up into some steep, gnarly terrain. A lot of it can be that they went way too high on the hill than they really needed to. When you're you're in this process of progression and you're just trying to, like you had said, stack those little wins, like building those tools for the toolbox. Guys will go up and they kind of expect themselves to have the confidence or be better than they are. And a lot of times those failed attempts can end up being a negative because they're just trying to do too much. It's like the guy that wants to learn the hop over that can't really side hill.
It's funny you just said that.
You know, they want the finish line before they ran the race, and they need to understand that these are all building blocks to it. And so throughout today, and you guys have loved through the channel when we did the play-by-play. So I'll have the GoPro on, and while we're in those, you know, those pieces of challenging terrain where we don't have a way down, we have to rely on our technique, keep our line, keep our momentum, whatever that looks like, but just point out parts and pieces of that terrain where it's okay to stop. It's okay to be in the right position. It's okay to find an alternative route, like you had said. Initiating Plan B. We'll quote, you know, Mr. Chris Brandt that has always talked about having Plan B when there are so many situations where Plan B was kind of the first option, because the moment you looked at the hill, it was like A was like right up this narrow draw. The moment that you transferred onto the hill, the snow was way deeper than you thought.
Like, nope.
And Plan B is now, wow, where am I going? So having that ability to sort of look like a GoPro would look. Have that 170, like look all around, know that you have those choices, and to your point, control what's in and around you.
And I think, well, a big thing that we talk about with people as well is when you're riding on the hill and you're in those situations, you don't have time to think. I talk about riding is a feeling. It's not about thinking, okay? You can't think if you're getting traction or not. You can feel if you're getting traction, and that's, like I said, I'm basing my lines off how much traction I have, if I'm able to build speed, if I'm not able to build speed, right? So riding is a feeling. It's not about thinking as much. I think about avalanche danger and stuff before I go out, and when I'm going up the trail and I'm reading these articles and I'm looking at the wind and the snow and the temperature, I'm thinking about that. Okay, and then I work off the feeling of it, you know, the whooping and things like that. Same thing while I'm side hilling. I'm feeling what the sled is doing, and if I'm slowing down or if I'm speeding up, and that's what I'm basing my lines off of, guys, is it's all a feeling.
I love it.
Right? You don't have time to think when you have 8 feet to turn before the tree, and am I going to go above it, or am I going to go below it? Right? And then you stutter step, and then you're stuck. And most of the time it's above the tree because we get greedy. It's not about thinking, it's about a feeling. So when you're trying to get out of your own head, when I'm riding, as you've seen in the past, I'm not doing a lot of thinking. I'm just reacting and going. Like I said, I'm going with the flow. Okay?
like it.
If something bounces me to the left, or if I can't go, screw it. I go under the tree, and, you know, I build some more speed, and then I cut up. I just go.
I like it.
So riding is a feeling. It's not about thinking.
Well, throughout this entire conversation, you've never been to Next Level. I have never been to SS Freeride. And the verbiage, what you and I talk about, and how we, you know, we give that language, we try to give that confidence to those riders, talking about snowmobiling as a feeling. When you're just starting out, all these fundamentals are things that you're physically, you're not only showing people how to ride, but you're actually putting their feet in the right spot and showing them. So we talk about this all the time, and everybody that's been to Next Level, you guys remember, there's a bunch of stuff on the desktop. So we've got finger on the brake, looking ahead, remembering to breathe, where my feet need to be. If I'm opposite foot forward, I don't want to be parallel to the running board. There is a pile of things that are there. And when snowmobiling starts to become a feeling, when we can get out of our own head and not be thinking about all those little things, and snowmobiling becomes a feeling, we're actually just clicking and dragging all of those things to the trash, where really at the end of the day, or at the beginning of the day. The moment that I head into some sort of challenging terrain, all I'm really focused on is looking ahead and remembering to breathe. Beyond that, you know, I think that a lot of people have this assumption that we go into these things like we've already done it. Like we've already been through that exact tree line before,
not even
and that's
close.
not the case. We're just processing as we go, and you are looking for those little hidden hallways, right? We're not looking at the things that are going to hurt us or stop us. You're looking at those alleyways, and as I start to wear out, as my body I start to breathe harder, I can feel that I need to slow down and get to a spot. Well, then that's that decision to take that steepness out of the hill and put myself either horizontal or slightly down to the slope and take that break that I need.
For sure.
Instead of feeling like that it has to be this Hail Mary pass. And then we end up whiskey throttling up into the trees. You know, those are fun stories to tell at the bar later. But a lot of times we get ourselves into those situations, and that stuck, even if you didn't get injured or not, that stuck, well, the wear out from the stuck is why all of a sudden a 6-7 hour day of riding, well, 3.5 of it was getting a sled unstuck from all these poor decisions because we can't get out of our own head.
A lot of our guys, and I like what you said about, you know, guys, when I'm riding through the trees and I feel myself starting to get a little winded, I start looking for a safe spot to park, like whether it's under like in a tree well where I know I'm going to get good tracks or something to come out of. A lot of people, they go down with the ship. That's what I call it. They're waiting and they're waiting and they're trying to put the line together and they're getting sloppy and they're getting tired. And then they just get stuck in like the dumbest spot, which they're totally capable of going through, but they're waiting to go down with the ship and they're so tired and there's no reason to do that, right? But they just push themselves a little bit too far. Stop 10 seconds earlier, you know, if you can find a good spot, or at least point downhill if you can stop in the powder or whatever. Guys, and I think I talk about this all the time with side hilling especially. There's no timeline to side hilling. Everyone gets in such a huge rush. When I'm leading, you would be amazed, and you do the same thing, how many times I stop and look because I'm trying to find lines. I mean, not essentially for myself, but that I can get 6 or 7 guys through. That it's big enough, it's not going to get super rutted. Oh my God, that's a really tight turn. They're all going to get stuck right here, whatever. So there's no timeline to what we're doing out here. Everyone gets in such a rush, right? And they push it too hard. And then, you know, you're realistically, a lot of people that aren't from the mountains and things like that, they're not acclimated like we are. We still lose our breath, but we recover a lot faster. A lot of these guys are 1 or 2 bad stucks away from going home. Right? You've seen it. They have 1 really bad stuck and they're wiped. They're done and it's 1:30. You know, so whatever. So, you know, just there's no timeline to side hilling, guys. Once I feel myself starting to get a little worn out, or like the pipes, I absolutely love them. They get a little heat soaked after a while. I can feel my sled, like we talked about. I'm not thinking my sled is heat soaked. I can feel the sled getting a little heat soaked. I'll stop.
Let that thing cool down.
Right? So there's no timeline to what we're doing out here. So don't get in such a hurry. You know, and take those little breaks, and it really pays off in the end. And guys, if you're doing something and if you're trying to finish your line and you're all sloppy, you're not becoming a better rider. We talk about that positive muscle memory, right? And I tell my riders, if you can't do it 110%, don't do it. Take a break. We want to work on that positive muscle memory because, like you said, when we're going through there, we're not even thinking anymore. We're just doing it. If you're sloppy, they're overriding the sled, their heads down, whatever. So there's no timeline. Take the little breaks. You know, and don't go down with the ship.
I like it.
You know?
That's perfect.
Yeah,
when it comes to progression, man, we're a good quality wine or a good quality beer. It's never about the quantity. It's never about how much you ride. It's literally, you know, when you're going to start stacking good muscle memory, it's about doing things correctly. And fatigue is something that no matter what sport you do, no matter what kind of athlete you think you are, fatigue gets in the way of everything that we do.
Absolutely.
And as that starts to happen, I do this with all my other sports guys, with flightboarding, wakeboarding, you know, trying to foil behind the boat. I mean, how many experiences I've had where I could tell that fatigue was getting in the way, where my brain was shut down, and now I'm just rescue riding. And all we're doing when we start to do that is, well, we're stacking bad habits, right? We kind of fall back and we rescue ride, and that ends up where we end the day maybe in a worse spot than we started. So remember to just take your time, you know, you find those spots, those safe zones to take those breaks. And in terms of just back to our point of getting out of your own head or getting out of that position where you're just telling yourself that you can't. Remember that it's a sport that takes complete and total confidence. But the confidence has to be earned. It's not something that you can swipe the card and purchase. You have to be out here. You have to dedicate yourself, put in the time. So those of you that make 1 left and 1 right side hill and pat yourselves on the back like you've done something, remember, my favorite quote, my favorite comment of all time is don't practice until you get it right. Practice until you can't get it wrong. Let's go ride.
side hill, obviously really steep terrain. We've got consequence below, meaning that I've got to hold my side hill, you know, either side hill down, turn back around, but as you can tell, I don't really have any options to go down. So it's mainly about, you know, deciding on the line that I'm going to take, and not unlike the video we did about, you know, gaining confidence in steep terrain. I want to be here. I have the confidence and the fundamentals to be here. And to Sahen's point, snowmobiling becomes a feeling. I'm not necessarily telling myself where I need to be on the running board and how fast I need to go. It's a feeling. So as I'm coming through this terrain, I am feeling the sled and what it needs. Here we go. Getting to a spot, as I look around, looks like it gets really steep, so I'm going to make a decision downhill, get onto the other side, and start my right side hill. Transition over, stay forward on the running board. How many times been in this spot where we've got kind of an unknown down there? I can see some sled tracks, but it gets awfully steep. Well, my decision to go that way, I'm going to go up there into that open terrain. I'm going to get out of my own head. That's just side hilling in killer snow. I'm not worried about what's down below me, and it's because I have the confidence, I have the tools to go through there, and if I get screwed up, I need to come down. Well, if I don't want to go all the way down, here comes the right side hill. We're getting out of our own head, guys. Look at that. Found a spot, got a little bit of a safe spot, like Sahen's point. Wanting to take a rest. Find a little spot where I can take a breath, look around, see what else I want to get. Let's go get it.
All right, everybody, so that is a wrap. Hope you liked this video. I know I did. So much fun to ride with Sahen and to get his insight. We have been doing this a long time. I hope you guys are following him. He's got his own YouTube channel that's out there, and he is progressing that.
It's small.
Lot of...
It's small, but we're working on those little wins.
It's really cool. I learn something every time I'm out with him. It's really fun to share these experiences with him. You guys remember to subscribe to the channel, like and comment with this video. I'm sure there's going to be a ton of you that are out there. And remember that we share our own humility. This sport, if it were easy, everybody would do it. So you guys keep on track, stay doing it, and we'll see you next time.